Hello, I'm Telkiney, the Nerd Navigator, and today I'll be bringing you the start of a series of videos I plan to make called the Overwatch Playbook. In this video, I'll be covering Temple of Anubis on attack, with the strategy codenamed Triple Meatball. I'm designing these videos to give plays on specific maps because while there are many ways to play, which is what makes Overwatch so fun, just like in sports such as football, the ability to plan ahead and make up plays so your team knows exactly who is doing what and where everyone will be can be a huge advantage to what I believe only a very small percent of the player base does. Now sure, there are different team composition metas out there, but I believe a lot are very misunderstood by the general public in saying that if you play just those heroes together, you'll win. That's not always the case. You still need to have everyone on the team know exactly what their role is within that composition. And just simply asking a solo queuer to switch to something so that they fill your idea of a meta team comp may not actually have a beneficial outcome as compared to having them play a character that they are more familiar with. That said, this is a video series for you and your friends when you have a 6-stack and can coordinate with each other to get a specific strategy accomplished. First, let's start off with the team composition for this strategy. This play calls for 2 tanks, a front tank and a back tank. The front tank will be the one that can shield the bulk of the enemy damage for your team. They'll be responsible for maintaining the front line and keeping everyone safe. As such, the best tank for this role is Reinhardt with his massive high HP shield. An alternative could be Orisa if your front tank player prefers her. She isn't the optimal pick, but in lower ranked play, I'd say people should play to their strengths rather than what is considered optimal. In higher end players, I'd expect most to be versatile and be somewhat proficient at a number of characters for their role. For the back tank, we want a character that can still shield enemy damage, but also has the mobility to move back and forth from the front line to the back. As such, Winston is most likely the optimal pick for this map, which usually sees a lot of Symmetra defenses which Winston can counter, while providing a shield bubble to the back line, and being able to jump around quickly to where he's needed. Now this is not your standard normal dive comp Winston strategy here. You should mainly be concerned with your back line calling out and dealing with flankers when needed. An alternative pick should be D.Va, who can still shield with Defense Matrix and would be a great counter if the enemy has a Pharah or a Bastion to give your DPS enough time to take them out, and has the mobility with the rocket boost to move to and from the back line. Moving on to the healer pick. This pick is pretty much exclusively dedicated to Lucio. He is needed for his speed to make this strategy work. It also relies on the team staying very close together through many points of the map. As such, his healing potential is pretty great. If your healer does not want to play Lucio, I'd suggest a different strategy than this one. Lucio is also very mobile in compared to a lot of other healers, so he shouldn't be picked off as easily. And while obviously his healing output won't be very high compared to some single target healing, your team not having that one vulnerable character may make the difference actually with this strategy. Next, let's talk about the DPS. 2 players will fill DPS roles. They should split between front and back roles as well, but that role is a lot more fluid because normally they will be firing forward together through the Rein or Orisa shield. The reason I say that they should be split is to know their role for flankers, for when the back tank calls out about them. You see, you don't want both of your DPS to break off to deal with it. Only one should, which then the flanker would be facing a 2v1 situation with your back tank and the DPS to deal with it. If both DPS ran back to the call, it could mean that the front doesn't have enough impact to break through on an all-out fight. Now, the primary picks I'd call out is Soldier for the front and McCree for the rear DPS spot. Soldier can help heal the pack with his biomedic field and should use that often, where McCree can really counter flankers like Genji or Tracer a lot easier than most with the flashbang, especially if he has a Winston shield backing him up and he understands how to weave in between the shielding. Now, can other DPS fill this role? Sure, most can. Pharah, Tracer, Reaper, Genji, even Bastion can fit on this team. If someone is really good with one, sure, have them use that. But I think with the comp and how the strategy plays out, the optimal pick would be still a Soldier McCree, but you do need to bear in mind the skill set of your DPS. Last, we have the Peeler slot, which is responsible for punishing out of position people and locking down enemy healers. Roadhog is still the best bet for this, even with the incoming nerfs, as he can still hook in enemies to have the rest of the team kill them, even if he can't one-shot them himself anymore. An alternative could be Mei with her high defense using Ice Block and the ability to freeze, say, a Mercy or an Ana in her tracks, or even separate them from the frontline enemy with an Ice Wall. The Peeler should work with the team and call out their hooks, freezes, or ice walls. With the team comp covered, let's move on to how this strategy works. I'll be running a gameplay video of some of my friends and I as we were doing it, although I want to first express that this was a spur-of-the-moment play at the time, and was not coordinated beforehand like this strategy video is. But it works as a demonstration and actually helps demonstrate some things that you should not do that we did. So once everybody's picked and the match starts, the first thing to remember is Lucio should not amp it up right out at the door. Low ranked Lucios might still do this. It's silly, there is no advantage to this. It's going to be on cooldown when you need it. On other maps, say King of the Hill maps, yeah, amp it up, but on maps where your enemies already have defenses placed, amp it up should only be used at the moment of enemy contact. So everyone should be running behind the front tank. Lucio needs to keep in mind to keep the front tank in the front of the circle, but hanging back far enough to provide everyone with speed. The Peeler and DPS should be on the Lucio behind the front tank like white on rice, and the back tank should bring up the rear, all the while calling out any Genji or Tracer attacks. Everyone should be a bunched up pack. Rein should have his shield up the instant he sees shots fired, strafing through the left archway, covering the path between the enemy and the door. Everyone should use him as cover and move behind him as quickly as possible into the doorway. Can't stress this enough, no one should be standing there still at the enemy team firing. That's gonna happen soon enough. As you are moving into the room, look out for Symmetra turrets and any DPS pocketed in the left rooms, call them out if you see them. As soon as the DPS and Lucio move in, Reinhardt should move back to the front and the rear tank takes up the door position and follows the team in. In our instance, we made a mistake and a great play. The great play came from our Peeler, Roadhog, who was able to hook as he was moving to the door and knock the snot bubbles out of him. While I said no one should stand still, if your Peeler can peel someone very quickly, he can still do that. This was a great move when it was done quickly and it worked. Our mistake was that our DPS was far behind us and the rest of the team didn't know. As such, he was out of position and the enemy Roadhog cashed in on it. I'll stress again, DPS should stay with the main tank at all times, unless the flank is called out, which the rear DPS should split off for. As you can see here, we had a McCree come in from behind, and the rear tank Diva called it out, and Pharah pounced on him while being shielded by Defense Matrix. This was a great teamwork play by Pharah and Diva. Moving through the corridors, Rein should stand behind the doorway to the bridge with a shield up, allowing DPS to take out anyone on the platform or bridge. As soon as it's clear, then Rein should spin around, facing the point, looking for snipers, Ferris, or a Bastion. If there are any, call them out. DPS should move in behind the shield for cover and take them out. If no flankers are behind, rear tank should assist to their capacity to block damage if Rein's shield breaks. Rein will be the main point man to determine if the point can be taken at this point, or if the team needs to withdraw the position for respawns, but be mindful of flanker callouts before moving in. If most of the team is down at this point, regroup and determine if you need to change strategies or if just a mistake was made and a second attempt could still work. On a second attempt, sometimes it might be smart to change things up and possibly even run to the right side route shown here. This will get you directly to the back of the enemy team as long as your whole team stays with you. Communication is key for all 6-mans and for the strategy. Once you've moved in and are on point, assuming you took the point cleanly, the enemy team should be shaking like a dog pooping peach seeds. There are 2 points of entry you'll need to watch. So like overprotective parents, you need to cover them until the point is ready. The left side main arch will be the main entry point enemies could come from while you're securing, which the front tank should cover, leaving the roof and side stairs to be covered by the back tank. These entry points can only be accessed by a few classes such as Genji, Widow, Hanzo, Winston, Diva, Pharah, or Mei. The rest of the team should continue their normal roles. Once the point is captured, form up in the same movement pattern as the beginning of the match and move to the left side under the left structure. Again, do not stand in the archway, do not start firing unless you see someone that your peeler can pick off or a flank is called out. Pick off anyone that is off point while you move in, keeping the tank in the lead. It's at this point that not only a Zenyatta was out of position while we were moving in, but also a Tracer. The enemy team was coming at us one at a time. It was easy pickings from there. Once we were moving into the building, it was at this point you may notice in the video that Reinhardt wasn't leading the group anymore. It is not advisable for anyone to go solo during this run. Luckily it worked out in the end, but against a higher ranked opponent, they could have easily punished a lone Reinhardt. Once on the point, it's the second verse same as the first, with the front tank standing still while your peeler and DPS do work at the doorway. If shield is going down, call it out at 500 HP for your rear tank to take over and recharge your shield. If anyone has ults, use them appropriately, assuming that your team is ahead. If you are behind with a bunch of red kill spam, do not use your ult, save it for the next run. There's no sense using up an ult just because you think it might push the tide. Use it when you have the advantage and can clear the entire team. This is one of the hardest points to breach in the game. Don't expect the first attempt to always work. Once the enemy is cleared, the front tank should take the open path where most people come from. Rear tank will take the building entrance, as enemies can still come from that direction as well. Don't mind this video, I'm just bad. I also didn't think of that point until writing out this play strategy. And that's the play. Now, if team comp is against you, take 10 seconds to talk to your team about what you want to play and what to switch. Think about what?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you.
Characters are strong against what, and aim positions that need to be switched to counter a particular enemy player. I hope this video was enjoyable to watch. It's certainly fun to run this play. Let me know if you in your 6 stack actually try this and if it works out for you or not. I'd love to hear about it. What other plays do you think I should cover next? I have a lot of ideas, but if I think of a better one, I can cover that as well. One of my active pursuits is kind of theory crafting and so forth, as I do with most MMOs. So it's fun to actually think of strategies that could work in Overwatch that may not be conventional. While this is very close, if not exactly to the triple tank meta that's currently available, I still like plotting out exactly how the plan of attack goes so that everyone knows exactly what to do. I think for the next map, I'm thinking I might do Hanamura next with a different team comp entirely, as Hanamura seems to be a pretty difficult 2PC also. Thank you. This is the Nerd Navigator. Please like, subscribe, and all that jazz if you feel like it. If you don't, well, it's all right. We could still be friends. Bye.